Everyone, this is Mariella. And I was thinking for today, as you might know, if you follow me already, for I was gonna say for the next 5 days, that's not true. For another day, my Tarot for Creatives is available for free on Amazon. I was gonna say 5 days because this month is my major giveaway month. I'm giving away all my ebooks for free, and there's also a chance to win a paperback of my writing journal and planner called 52 Weeks of Writing. And you can also win 2 paperback copies of this one, Tarot for Creatives. So this one is up until tomorrow, the 5th. Starting the 6th, there will be another book for free, another ebook. So what I wanted to do today, I thought it would be fun to do one of the tarot spreads that is in the book. And I picked the one that's called My Soul's Calling, because lately I've been, ever since I moved to Cyprus, and I know I'm wearing a big sweater right now, but outside, like, this is the thing in Cyprus, right? Like, outside it's glorious weather, but inside, like, the houses remain cold for a long time because there's very little insulation. So inside I wear sweaters, outside, like, I'm melting on my balcony, right? So inside it's like, I wear scarves even inside. Don't tell anyone. Especially don't tell any Cypriots. So what's been happening since I moved here is that I feel inspired all the time. Like, every time I take a little break from the day job, so my editing, my coaching, I'm like, this is a great idea, I'm gonna do this. And that has, well, that is amazing. And I feel very blessed that that is happening. And I have like post-its all over, like my bedroom has become one big vision board. And I have so many plans. It's also a bit overwhelming from time to time because I'm like, so what is next? Like, what am I gonna focus on next, right? So that's something I've been struggling with. And there is a spread for that. Like, I have, for example, if you're struggling between 2 projects, I have the eeny meeny spread, right? So that is if you are, you want to work on one thing, but then there's this other project sort of like calling at you. You're just like, oh, I don't know which one to focus on now. Like, what do I need to put all my energy towards? So that's really great if you have 2 projects. I have another one that's called eeny meeny miny mo. And that is if you struggle prioritizing between multiple projects. That would have been a great fit for today, but because I am juggling so many projects at the time, I thought I would be stuck here for an hour trying to figure out which card says what about which project. So I decided instead to try the My Soul's Calling spread and see if that gives me a direct idea of the project. So I know it's not going to tell me this is a project, here's your title, because unless you happen to have a deck that has a card that coincidentally has the same title as your project, it's not going to be that direct. But I thought, let's just do this one, let's just try and see what happens, and maybe something in my head goes like, aha, so this is the one I should be focusing on now. I mean, one can hope, right? So this is what I'm going to do today live, and I've never done this live before. Which is kind of scary in a way and vulnerable, because as people who do cards know, like, they can be very in your face. Like, we tend to say, just another bitch slap. So yeah, it like, I don't know what's gonna come up. I don't even know if I'm gonna immediately understand. Sometimes it takes a few hours or even a few days or even a few months before you actually understand what the cards are trying to tell you, right? Depends on how much your ego or whatever is in your way. So I was thinking of doing this one today and just see what comes up, just because it's fun, it's something new. I like pushing myself out of my comfort zone, so let's just do it. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this deck. It's called the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And the reason I'm doing this one is because like, all my tarot books are called tarot books. But of course, that doesn't mean you have to use tarot. It took me a while. Like, I got into cards way before I got into tarot cards. And one of the reasons, it's a very particular system. Some people are a bit intimidated by it. So it's absolutely legit to just use an oracle deck. So you don't need to be a tarot reader to use the spreads in the book. So that's why I wanted to demonstrate using this set. So let's do this. See if I can keep the book open as I shuffle. So also one of the reasons I wanted to do this video as well is because I know some people who have been following me even before I started being more open about using this to connect to my intuition. And it's been really fun lately to see that some of these people are now buying their own tarot decks or their own oracle decks, and they start, even though they follow me because of my coaching or because of my editing, they can't really miss that I'm doing this as well. So they've become intrigued, and they're now buying decks. So I'm advising them, okay, so what deck do you want to buy? Do you want to do tarot? Shouldn't you start with an oracle deck? So that's been really, really fun. So this is also for people who are a bit more new to it, to show that it's a really scary thing to do. It's actually quite fun. And also just, how do you do it? Like, how do you go about doing a spread like this? So cards. So this is a thing, like some decks will tell you how to shuffle. Some people are very rigid in how you have to shuffle. I am not. Everything for me is intuitive. I do have my own, over the years I developed a way of shuffling. So that's what I'm doing now, and I sort of always know. So what I do is I shuffle it like this for a few times, and then, and I know you can't see that, but I'm sure you know what I mean. I shuffle them like, how am I going to show this? How am I going to show this? I do this thing, like so I do that 3 times. That's just something that I picked up. It works for me. It always does. And usually as I shuffle, I look at the questions, but right now I'm focusing on this, so my head's not entirely there. So let me just take a look. So the questions are, I didn't even share the questions with you. The first question is, what does my soul call for me to create right now? The second question is, what limiting beliefs do I have about this project? And here you can draw either one card, you can draw multiple cards, whatever you want. This is something that you will start to know intuitively as, like, the longer you do this, you will know, like, after I know beforehand, that's going to take me 1, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 cards, right? So for this one, I will draw 2 cards for this question. Then the third question is, what is keeping me from pouring my heart and soul into this project? Fourth question is, how will this project feed my soul? And the fifth question is, how will this project feed the souls of others? Okay, so not just me, but also, like, if I bring this out into the world, what will others do? Or what will that mean for others? So here we are. And I will hold them up for you because I know you can't see them. Let me see. One thing about this particular card deck is that the cards are pretty large. So I always need to make sure that I have enough space for it. Okay, so let's see. Let's see how bad it's going to be today. So these cards, even though I love this deck, it's really pretty. It has been quite in my face. So as they all do, basically, like, it doesn't matter. Like, they can be sometimes cards are super validating, and sometimes they're like, you got to do something about that. And then the cards, they're like, why are you still stuck here? Why don't you just move on, get your act together, stop sabotaging yourself? That's something that they do. Okay, so let's see what I have. Okay. Oh, I love this. This is great. This is just so much fun. Okay. So my first card is, so that's to the question, what does my soul call for me to create right now, right? It's the card, I hope you can see this. It's to be fair. So I don't know if you've ever done if you ever done a reading with me. You'll know that I sometimes say, okay, so this is comparative to this card in the tarot. Some oracle decks are very close to the tarot, some are less. Some just remind me of a very particular card. Of course, this is judgment, you know, the balance, karma, the scales, deciding what to pick. So to be fair, okay, that's interesting. The first thing I'm thinking of is that what my soul is telling me to create is something that actually is fair to me, and that's not, how do I say that? If you produce something and you realize, or you make something and you realize that it really benefits people, you can get really caught up in trying to create the same thing or trying to create something better, just because, you know, it's, I mean, you do, like, if you write something and people get like really excited about that, like, that's such a dopamine hit, so it's so exciting. But sometimes you get really caught up in if you want to produce more of that just to keep people happy, right? So I'm wondering, for now, like, my first thing is thinking, when I look at this card, that I have to really consider what is fair to me. Like, what do I need to create right now? So that could be something entirely new that I have no idea yet. What my existing audience would like, whether that actually resonates, I mean, with my existing audience. But something that is definitely something that I have to say, that I have to speak up about. So that's interesting. And as I said, I have so many projects in my head that I don't even know at this point what this could be about. So let's see what the others say. So the second question was, what limiting beliefs do I have about this project? And I drew 2 cards. So these are the cards I have. So this is To the Sea and TikTok. So TikTok, this one, it's lovely doing this in the mirroring. TikTok, very obvious, of course. That means, and that's something that I have, is like this rush, like I have so many ideas and I want to put them out there and as fast as possible, because they can help people. And of course they help me. Like, every time I create something, I learn so much about myself and there's so much growth. So for me, the limiting belief is that I might be running out of time, or that there is a perfect time to put something out there, and if I don't put it out there now, I'm gonna miss the boat. Very funny. See, she's on a boat. So that is definitely a limiting belief of mine, that if I slow down, that I lose my momentum. So the card, this is basically a card that tells you everything's like everything in divine time, right? So it will be like time. The card actually says that time doesn't really exist. So it really doesn't matter when you do what, right? As long as it is aligned with you, you will be fine. So this is To the Sea, which is, I love this card. It's very much about, to me, it's very much about, like, I drew this card a lot as I was pondering whether I would move to Cyprus or not. And then this card came up. So in that case, it was quite literally, right? Like, to the sea. Like, I kept asking, what am I doing? What should I be doing? And I kept getting the card To the Sea. And of course, it's quite literally, like, I can. Well, not from where I'm sitting right now, but I can see the Mediterranean Sea from my balcony. So quite literally To the Sea. For me now, if I look at the card now, like, she's quite, as you can see, she doesn't look too happy, and it might look like, to me, it even looks like she's not even steering, so she has no direction. And that is actually how I've been feeling lately, that because I have so many ideas, I kept, and I've been talking about this in my accountability group, the Accountable Wordsmiths on Facebook here, that I felt like I was drifting without a purpose. So this is definitely something. So I'm really starting to think that this whole spread is about me doing something that I haven't done before, that is not necessarily in line with my current audience might expect, and that one of the fears is that, like, if I don't stick to what I'm already doing, I will look like I'm directionless. So that's I think. So I'm not yet sure which particular project this is about, but I'm thinking it's one of those that is something that not something new I've been working on, but more something that I haven't spoken up about yet. So not something people might expect. So I'm thinking that might definitely be the case here, which is always nice because, you know, who doesn't like being pushed out of their comfort zones? So the third card, what is keeping me from pouring my heart and soul into this project? And this is the card Imagine. And this card has everything to do with, if you're into manifestation, stuff like that, abundance teachings, this card is all about that. Like if you can dream it, it's already real, right? But it also has a lot to do with trust, that if you jump, you will land on your feet. That is something that I sometimes I feel like I can fly, and I have my moments that I'm pretty convinced everything I do will fall apart as soon as I touch it, right? I think we all have those moments. So this one, what is keeping me from pouring my heart and soul into this project? I would say it's me not trusting that I can create a better world, maybe. If that's it, I know exactly what this card is about. If it's about creating, being able to imagine a better world. So the fourth card, how will this project feed my soul? And this one gave me, that's another gorgeous one. Like I really do love this deck. It's the card Loyal Heart. So for me, this means that sticking to this project would mean that I am being loyal to my own passions, my own, how would I say that? Yeah, just loyal to my own heart, loyal to my soul. It means feeding my soul. It means doing something that is aligned with me. It honors the knowledge that I have. So yeah, but it is like, come on, look at this card. It's so beautiful. So that makes me think. So my brain. You don't have no idea how my brain is spinning right now. And then the last card, how will this project feed the souls of others? It's the card Go the Distance. So this is a stamina card, right? So it's this is the thing, like I'm thinking of a project right now and I'm like, how does that make people go the distance? But yeah, if it is about the project that I'm thinking it's about, it would mean that me actually finishing, it's something that I've been working on for quite a while. Me finishing that book will help others, and authors in this case, to make a change, to do something, to do something for the to do something to help, like create that better world that I have been imagining. So okay, so what oh god, I've been doing this way too long. So yeah, okay, but I have this project in mind, and actually I have started, and people who follow me in different groups know I've been asking about this. So I do think this is validating that this is the project I need to focus on. So yeah, so I'm gonna read this again. So there's a book I've been working on, and it doesn't have an official title yet. The working title is Representation Matters, How Not to Write the Other. So how to write the other, how not to write the other. And it's based on, before I quit the academic world, I taught courses on representations for representation for about 9 years, so almost a decade. And I've always wanted to put that knowledge that I have into something concrete for writers to use. So something sort of separated from all the philosophy around it and all the, the French terminology, and just write something practical for writers that they can implement in their work if they want to bring more diversity into their work, and if they want to do diversity in a better way. So I've been working on this for a long time. Even on my blog, like one of my first blog posts were about this. So that is years ago, right? So if I read it like this, what does my soul call for me to create right now? To be fair is me being fair to the fact that I do have a lot of knowledge about a particular project, and that even though I quit academia, that doesn't mean I cannot still use that knowledge and marry that to the world that I am now in, that I'm now full-time in, which is the writing world. So yeah, it is honoring the knowledge that I have, and honoring a very particular passion of mine, which is representation. So in terms of the other two cards, the limiting beliefs, I feel that this is the time, right? Like this is a very particular. Even though I started writing this book before # we need diverse books, this is the right time to write it. So one of the limiting beliefs I have is that if I don't do it now, it's not going to be useful anymore. But I don't think that's actually going to be the case, because there is so much we need to change in the world. To the sea, this one, which in this case feels very lonely to me. It's the fear that I'll be very critical in this book, and I know from experience that my critical opinions don't always make me popular, but that doesn't mean it's not a valid opinion, and it would not even be opinions, it would be arguments, right? So this is my fear, that this will leave me very alone because I have such an unpopular opinion about things. But of course, and this is why it's a limiting belief, if you say goodbye to one group of people, if you start speaking your truth, you will find your other tribe, you will find your other clan waiting for you. So yeah, that's definitely something that really resonates. This card, for me, the Imagine card, is also based on one of my fears, that even if I write this book, it's not going to change a damn thing, right? There's so much wrong with this world that me writing a book like that, it's not actually gonna change anything. But yeah, maybe this card is just telling me, like, if you can imagine a world in which people go about representation and diversity in literature better, if you can imagine that, it might happen. And even if it doesn't happen like on a grand scale, there will be people who find this very useful, and who will start doing or start treating diversity better in their work, because now they're more, after I read this book, people will be more informed, and they will have practical. That's the plan anyway. They will have practical tools to actually implement it. So of course, the loyal heart is, for me, the loyal heart, to be fair, are very close actually in this one. So yeah, this is definitely, for me, it's also about honoring something that I am really, really passionate about. Something, like I said, like I spent so much of my life into teaching students the importance of representation and why it matters. And I've seen so many students like being blown away after lectures that I gave, because they never saw it like that, or they're just like, what? So this is also me it's me being loyal to a topic that is very close to my heart. And then of course go the distance. Like I said, it's a bit tricky. How will this project feed the souls of others? But yeah, maybe this book, when it's finished, when it's out there, when it's published, will give people what they need. Because I think a lot of people these days are also terrified of diversity, because when you do make, I'm not going to say mistake, quote unquote, I'm doing this behind you can't see it. When you do make a mistake, like, people can be very relentless, right? And one of the things I want to say, and that might also be why this "to be fair" card comes in. Really, what I want to say, one of the things I want to say in this book, I think that I already wrote that chapter, or that part of the chapter, is that, you know, that always try, right? And you cannot make everything happy. So maybe this card actually implies that when I write this book, it will give people the confidence to actually do it, to write more diverse books, and to write diverse characters, to add them to their stories, maybe even like write them as protagonists. So yeah, maybe that's, if that project is about that, I definitely think I need to, and I started recently focusing on this, so that's a really good sign. But yeah, okay, so if that's the case, this is very validating, and I'm glad that I did this spread, and it just means that I have to you know, look at my planner, and actually, because this is gonna need some research, obviously. Even though like the framework of the book already exists, this is gonna need research. And I've started asking people in other groups and on my Facebook page, like, what stereotype annoys them the most. So if you have an answer to that, like if you're like, oh, if you're gonna write a book on representation, could you please include something about this? Leave a comment or message me, because that's the exact kind of information that I need. What I've also started looking for are the good examples. So who did representation really well? So what, you know, when do we see minority characters and it isn't a complete stereotype or perpetuating harmful cliches, stuff like that. So if you have anything like that and you want to share that with me, that would be great. I can't promise you when this book will be out, but I can promise this: I will make it a priority in my life right now. I don't know what that means for the rest of my schedule, but let's see. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I don't think I've ever seen this many people live at the same time, so that's kind of scary and fun. This is the book you can still get for free on Amazon worldwide. Just go to amazwordsmith.nl/tarot for creatives and you'll find all the shops there. And this was My Soul's Calling, which is the fourth spread in the book. If you have any questions about this, or if you are creative and you might want to start using cards, but you have no idea where to start, send me a message and I'll gladly help you pick out your first deck or give you some pointers how to start. I thank you so much. I am now going to run to my Greek class. Bye-bye.